Do you feel flashbanged? I'm sorry for doing that to you. I had to throw you in the deep end of this topic because I needed to authentically recreate the way I felt when I first ran into one of these things completely unprompted. Hi again, guys, and I firmly believe looking at these images is profoundly unhealthy for the human spirit, which is why we're going to be looking at too many of them to count. As you know, and I'm sure no one from anywhere on the political spectrum has allowed you to forget, Charlie Kirk was a right-wing politics guy who got shot on September 10th earlier this year and died as a result. His name has remained in discussion since then, and the way I've seen him pulled up on my timeline recently, and unwillingly, was through hundreds and hundreds of edits of his face put onto pictures of other people, and in tons of scenarios I don't think Charlie Kirk was ever going to find himself in during life. It is some of the most diabolical, disrespectful shit I have seen all year. And this is a year where something similar happened to Vice President J.D. Vance, where all of these AI and Photoshop edits of his face kept making the rounds, to the point of Vance using the most popular one for his Halloween costume. Quick disclaimer, this video is going to be showcasing a lot of disrespectful shit. I may laugh, I may gaffe, but this is in no way a cosign of all the things shown in this video. Merely a slack-jawed reaction to the absurdity of them existing at all. That said, if you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to my video covering the similar stuff happening to JD Vance earlier this year, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Now, it's not just JD and Charlie Kirk who this has happened to. The last time I saw this face replacement shit take off in any meaningful way was when Mr. Beast was just getting his face edited on like random rappers and he was just flexing bands of money. The trend was called something like Mr. Lean or Hood Mr. Beast or whatever. And at least Mr. Beast got to capitalize off of that. Like, he effectively got to take the joke to a crescendo and then killed it by doing so. He got his Twitter likes, people got to thirst after his new look, and we all pretty much moved on. Unfortunately, Charlie is not here to capitalize on any of this moment, which is a real shame because wasn't that like his whole thing? Capitalism and all that? And as a result, there's no one around to make the joke lame by getting in on it in the same way Vance did or Mr. Beast did when they just recreated the damn thing IRL. However I or you feel about him, I truly believe Charlie would have found a way to flip this trend into a bag in his lifetime, therefore killing any humor it had forever. At the start, people had the decency to be shocked about what they were saying. They'd say some shit like, "Oh, hell nah." Back when it was still October, people were even saying, "Y'all won't believe the bullshit I've just seen," preempting what they were about to share as what it was. Bullshit. That said, no amount of preparation could have made you ready for what you were about to see if it was your first time seeing an innocent image that had been Kirkified. The first one I saw that really made me jump out of my seat and poo a little was one of JPEG Mafia's album cover LP. This is the original cover, if you've never seen it. Great album, highly recommend it. But Tippity on Twitter over here is all, "I forgot how good this album was, bro." And when I first see that, I drop a like on that tweet without thinking too much about it. I'm just thinking, that's an accurate assessment. It is really good. I like that album. So I go back to doom scrolling for a little bit before I'm like, wait a second, and I have to scroll back up because I didn't believe my eyes the first time I had this shit shown to them. That's fucking Charlie Kirk. That is not JPEG Mafia. Like, my brain knew something was off, even if it didn't know what immediately when it first saw it. Maybe it should have been an immediate giveaway that JPEG Mafia is not white, but the way the camera flash in the original album lights JPEG Mafia's face must have been just close enough for me to not second guess it the first time. It was just good enough to fool me up until it didn't, at which point I could not stop thinking about it. You know, generally, one of the earliest subjects for Kirkification have been album covers, and because I had unknowingly liked that tweet without realizing the entirety of what was in it, you best believe that my whole For You page on Twitter was just inundated by album covers with Charlie Kirk's face for a good while there. If you haven't seen the cover of Young Thug's latest album, this is what it looks like. Dude made himself white on the actual image. So when I saw the Charlie Kirk edit of it weeks ago, I thought that on its own was the joke. I thought that it would mercifully stay isolated to this one instance, but God, I should have known what was coming. I probably should have. Every single Drake album cover known to man has a Charlie Kirk variant where it's just him in all the iconic poses you've seen Drake in, but replaced with Charlie's face. If you've ever wanted to see an M-Preg Charlie Kirk, not just through M-Preg Mafia Charlie Kirk, here we have the cover of Certified Lover Kirk, the classic 2020 album. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think pregnant with child is a look that really suits him. He probably should have stuck to his usual aesthetic. aesthetic. I think him on the Take Care album cover looks decent, given that they let him keep his normal hair and put him in a suit, so it isn't like the worst thing in the world. But that original Drake image is so iconic that it's always just gonna be seen by me as Charlie trying to jack the boy's swag. Am I valid in Toronto yet? If I ever go to like Brampton or some shit, I'm gonna get executed at gunpoint. Now, let's be real. You know this like didn't stop with just album covers. In fact, the majority of the stuff was well outside of that. People started putting it on memes and any reaction image you could think of. This shit refused to stay as just edits of isolated anomalies that existed in their own corner of the internet. If an image had an actual human face on it, it was fodder to be Kirkified. Keeping it with Drake for now, because why not? We have that picture of him sipping Starbucks, a little zesty-like, but it's been newly Kirkified, and it's making the rounds again because of it. Any relatively recent reaction image is just immediately on the chopping block for Kirkification. The Shark Tank, I'm out in 1.3 seconds thing, that is now Charlie Kirk reacting to something. They Kirkified the Kaby Lame mechanism, where it's rumored any human put inside of it will be forced to spend the rest of the eternity there, or at least until the mechanism itself is physically destroyed, whichever comes last. Hell, certain jokes I haven't seen since the beginning of the year damn near had a resurgence, a second life, a second wind. Just this time with Charlie Kirk's face as the one making the expression. I genuinely have not seen the Goonicide image or video in months, so imagine the jump scare I felt when I can feel it crawling down my back like my sins, schmoozing its way back into my feed one random day, and instead of the face I'm expecting, it's Charlie. You know what this means. Any reaction image that has existed prior has now been given a Kirk variant that was often getting used in place of the original, in events that had nothing to do with the original Kirkification. It's like how when Drake lost the Kendrick beef, people made this entire trend of putting a big black square that said, "Not Drake," over Drake's face on a bunch of already famous Drake gifs. And now, over a year and a half later, you still see those gifs floating around in circulation. The doctor said I shouldn't eat dinner at 10 p.m. if I don't want to wake up with acid reflux. And you know, a really appropriate gif here would be Drake teaching Lil Yachty how to fix his computer, or perhaps even the not Drake version if you prefer. Either way, I could relate to the sentiment. So what exactly did they choose for this caption? Charlie Kirk version? There was no need to include it, but it was. In fact, its inclusion probably caused it to pop off more than it would have without it. Truly insane shit. I think the long-term consequences of this is going to be Kirk variants of existing reaction images haunting us for years to come, long after the influx of all these new ones has come and gone. Eventually, Kirkification has become a thing you just do to other people, regardless of their association to an existing meme or anything at all. It just became funny to do as a vacuum to a lot of people. And I won't lie, a few of them got me. The one where somebody replaced every New York City mayoral candidate's face with Charlie Kirk did make me laugh. Some poor schmuck out there who genuinely had no idea this was a thing happening probably asked themselves in pure disbelief when, where, and why the hell Tu Hollis and Charlie Kirk were hanging out. And this ended up almost becoming a game of Where's Waldo, where either independently or because a large amount of human brains had their pattern recognition primed for it, people started seeing Charlie Kirk literally everywhere, myself included. Even places where it wasn't. I'm not even sure that all of these were AI or Photoshop edits. Some of them I think were just genuine lookalikes spotted in the wild. This one is definitely an edit, I can tell you that. This is of Los Polos and his dad, who you may know better as the WFAPS guys. This is an iconic screenshot of them that's been floating around for months at this point, only this time they've been Kirkified, which I suppose this way they at least keep some of the father-son resemblance, in that they look completely fucking identical. They created 10 million Charlie Kirks, and now they're just wandering around doing random shit. This first one is like one of multiple different images people have edited Charlie Kirk's face onto of dudes holding fursuit heads, leading to batshit insane, probably entirely unserious conspiracy theories, or more likely RPF fanfic that Charlie Kirk secretly faked his death to leave his old life behind and become an undercover full-time fursuiter. Who the hell is thinking of this shit, man? It's gone so far that someone can make an Undertale Deltarune reference about it, and the layman Twitter user will understand what it means. Bro is shattered across time and space. I think by the time this is done, nobody is gonna be safe. Even now, your everyday Twitter pedestrian, every B-tier Twitter user who dared to have their face out there in public has been at risk of immediate and mandatory Kirkification. Keep in mind that a French person posted this next one, and this is a translation. I'm finishing the evening with Charlie on the phone. And when this made its way back across the language barrier around to OP, the only question they were left to ask was, what have I done to deserve this? This shit got so far, people were saying, reply to this and I will try to Kirkify Kirkify your profile picture. Like it was like an artist who usually only takes commissions saying they draw free avatars for anyone who liked, retweeted, and followed their account. A soul-shattering aspect of this is people getting genuinely invested in making these things. Like, they have opinions on the quality of the images, which, mind you, are almost entirely AI. People are collecting their favorite Kirkified posts they found on the internet and sharing them like trading cards. But if you share one that somebody else thinks is dog shit, then you're in the wrong for finding it funny. And you're going to have to weather some scathing critiques on the quality of your favorite Kirkification. This image is frying me. Horrible head placement. No passion, 0 out of 10 Kirkification. What even constitutes a 10 here? It has been generally argued that this is possibly the worst time to die as a controversial public figure, especially if you wanted your legacy to be maintained in any sort of respectful way. I hate it when iFunny makes a good point, but a few days ago was the 5th anniversary of King Von's death, where iFunny said, if he died today, they would have had this dude printed onto 50 different Vigil AI videos within 20 hours. I don't want to give the guy running this account props, but they're fucking right. Across the internet, people have been making the same observation in much more sobering tones that this is really just the wrong time to die. If you have haters and you're thinking about dying, probably don't do that because they will jump on that shit immediately, man. It does not matter why they hate you. I've seen people make edits of an NBA player they view as having been the reason their team lost a game, farting and squatting down uncontrollably mere minutes after the game itself has ended. I can't even show those here. To send us off, let's tie it back to JD. To illustrate one more piece of disrespect being done unto Kirk before the little card of his video shows up. People have been diabolical in how they are using him against Charlie Kirk's memory and the way they interpret things Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, has said about him. These are comments she made for necessary context.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend. No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
No funny shit. This is like a normal thing for someone to say when they're mourning someone they love. Part of the way you cope is by seeing them in like the little moments of life, seeing their best qualities and the reasons you love them and other people you care about, oftentimes because of your interactions with those people. I don't personally see any of the traits she's talking about in JD Vance, but none of this is an odd thing for a widow to say about someone who's been an active part of her support system, one going through a loss. She's introducing JD Vance here and she goes on for a speech of like 30 more seconds, just smiling bright talking about him. They share a big hug. He comes on stage. They share a big hug. And that's enough. The internet was off to the fucking races with this. JD, you ain't slick, my boy. JD, advance on your girl. They are sleeping together. I can't take it anymore. I will forever be inundated by Charlie Kirk AI slop edits and then die of exposure to it like it's radiation. I'm wrapping this up here. That card I mentioned should be on screen. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Kwite. And when is enough?